Hi everyone, my name's Ian Gibbs. I'm the Director of Data Leadership and Learning at JICMAIL, and I'm going to be walking you through a short training module on how to extract planning insight from the JICMAIL database. In this module, we're going to be focusing on how to uncover insight into how people are physically interacting with DM and door drops, along with the commercial outcomes you can expect to drive from mail exposure. Okay, so in the previous module, we looked at how to extract basic data from the JICMAIL item dataset. Just as a reminder, whereas the audience database is a person-centric database and looks at how target audiences are interacting with mail, the item dataset is an item-centric database, and we use it for figuring out why we see mail interaction and what the drivers of those interactions are. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at how we can extract data on the physical interactions that people are having with mail and door drops, and also the commercial outcomes that we might expect to see as a result. So very simply, to begin with, I'm just going to look at two types of mail. So I'm going to go to mail description, and I'm going to go to mail type, and I'm going to put addressed advertising, which is DM, and door drops into my columns. And then I'm going to go to mail actions. So as I said, this is where the mail item database is really distinct from the audience database. You'll notice within here we have an engagement rate. So this is whether a mail item has had any type of action taken on it other than being thrown away. We've also got physical actions. So these are the actions which contribute to our measure of frequency of exposure. Every time someone takes one of these actions, it contributes to frequency. And we split it down into three code books. So we have got whether the action was taking place immediately. In other words, did it happen on the first day that the mail item was received? We have got whether or not it happened as a follow-up. So did the action happen at any other point over a 28-day period? But we've also, just to make things simpler, we've also combined those two. We've combined immediate and follow-ups into any action. So here, these are whether the mail action happened at any point over the 28-day period. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just drop all of these actions into our rows. And I'm just going to now rank this on vertical percentage. So what this tells us here is, again, vertical percentages, you read upwards first. This tells us that 69% of all DM is opened at some point over a 28-day period. The next most common action, well, 64% of it is read, looked or glanced at. Now, if we look at the same for door drops, I'm now going to rank this for door drops. So I'm going to sort this on vertical percentages. What you'll notice now, actually, if we just scroll down to open rates, only 8% of door drops are opened. It's very hard to open a door drop. Most of them are obviously just leaflets. Perhaps unsurprisingly, 86% of door drops are thrown away at some point over a month. But aside from that, 63% are read, looked at or glanced at. And actually, nearly 15% are put aside to look at later, showing us that door drops aren't necessarily a medium which has an ephemeral exposure. That it does hang around. It's a poster in the home. So those are physical interactions. So those contribute to frequency. What I'm going to do now is just show you data on commercial outcomes. So actually, if you scroll down here, look at commercial actions. Again, you'll see the code books are split out to look at immediate actions, which happen on the first day that a mail item is received, follow-up actions that happen at some other point over the month, and any action, which combines those two together. And I think, a good starting point to keep things simple is just to look at this any action variable. I'm just going to put all these commercial outcomes into the rows. Again, let's just rank this now on vertical percentages for addressed advertising. And this tells us that most commonly, the commercial action driven by DM is that it's discussed with someone else. 12.85% of DM is discussed with someone else. The next most common action, 7% of DM drives people online. And 6% is used for a voucher or discount code redemption. If you scroll down, you might be interested in whether it was actually used to make a purchase. We can see here that 1.52% was used to plan a large purchase. And we can see that 2.78% was used to prompt a call to an advertiser. You'll notice that with commercial actions, we can look at the same for door drops as well, so I'm just going to sort these in vertical percentages. Again, most commonly door drops are discussed with other people. 1.84% of door drops will you have discounts or voucher codes used. What you can actually do, if I'm just going to remove all these actions now, you can actually create a combined view or all of these together in our rows to have a look at any commercial action. So this actually tells us now that 30.63% of DM drive some sort of commercial action and 10.24% of door drops drive some sort of commercial actions. So if you look at the picture of effectiveness or response that you get through your unique tracking codes, you'll notice with JICMAIL data, it paints a far broader picture of response. And that's how we extract basic physical interaction and commercial outcome data from the JICMAIL item dataset.